Tim Burton can be called a lot of things. A shithead, a douchebag, a moron, a weirdo, a freak. He practically took Alice in Wonderland and Willy Wonka and shit all over them. And just like any shit, there's always a peanut up in the mix, and in his case, it's Johnny Depp. But when I think of Batman, I think he could possibly be the smartest motherfucker I've ever seen. Believe it or not, he not only reinvented Batman, but he also created a new world. He made Gotham City an incredibly complex place. But there are some things you can't deny suck about this film, such as the stupid cartoon-looking Batman on the rooftop. I personally think that this scene should have been deleted or cut from the film. But the way that we are introduced to the character is a great one.
No shit. It's all over the pavement.
Hiding in the shadows awaiting the criminals of Gotham really helped to give you that holy fucking shit, that's Batman moment. You know what I'm saying?
On me. Who are you? I'm Batman.
But some of the casting choices that Tim Burton made and the story liberties that he took really pissed me off and confused me as a child. One such choice he made was turning Billy D. Lando Calrissian Williams into Harvey Dent.
Thank you, Mayor Board. Thank you.
I mean, not a whole lot of people really paid attention to him, but personally I think it was a poor choice of casting. The reason why I say this is because they never really developed his character, not in this movie or even Batman Returns.
But if the forces of evil should rise again to cast a shadow on the heart of the city, call me.
In fact, I don't think Lando even showed up for Batman Returns.
I really wanted desperately to do, obviously, Two-Face. I mean, I was hoping that it would segue into that. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see what I could do with it.
I also hated Pat Hingle as Jim Gordon. He was more like a second-rate character that you could give a fuck less about.
Oh my God.
What is even more of a fucked up shit strain on your mind is that they kept him around for another 3 Batman films without any character development whatsoever.
A lot of people don't know this, but the first Batman script, the cop on the beat that first came to Bruce Wayne's aid when his parents were killed was Commissioner Gordon. There was a picture got in the papers of the boy clinging to this officer's leg and kind of waist, and the officer's arm around the boy.
I just wasn't impressed with Burton's versions of these characters. Or for the fact that the horrible Joe Shitmaker decided that he was going to keep bits and pieces of the cast. Yet replaced Billy D. Williams with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. That was stupid casting move for me, because I would have loved to see Lando come back and duke it out, partnered up with Jim Carrey, you know, because it's Lando.
Sorry, son, the dog was rabid, had to put it down.
We're in position. All fighters accounted for.
But Burton's other casting choices were pretty great, like Vicky Vale's character, which made a pretty good addition to the storyline.
Yeah, photographer, Vogue, Cosmo, yeah.
If you haven't actually seen the film, then you're a noob. But if it's been a while, here's a basic rundown. She shows up in order to satisfy her sexual curiosities for a mysterious Batman.
I like bats.
And while she's in town, Harvey Dent has declared an all-out war on crime. Well, I guess the big-time crime boss Curly from City Slickers 1 and 2.
City folk.
I really hate that this character wasn't known as Rupert Thorne. But that's another reason why I think that the casting was so ridiculous.
Do you know what the secret of life is?
No, what?
This.
Your finger?
Oh. One thing. Just one thing.
Certainly.
You stick to that and everything else don't mean shit.
That's great, but
Oh, certainly.
what's the one thing?
That's what you gotta figure out.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
When you first get a chance to meet Bruce Wayne, it's nice to see Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, even though he is Mr. Mom. Back then, it was a very strange choice in casting.
Where's Bobby keep the extra diapers?
But to me, his eyebrows always made me think that no matter what the haters say, this is a great fucking Batman. Now, if only the script would have excluded the reporter Knox, because his character fucking sucks. It's like they just had a random-ass character that they needed to throw in there for comic relief.
Alexander Knox.
Oh, I read your work. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, thanks. Can I have a grant?
I really could care less if this character was even in the movie. They should have just cut him out completely.
Cover this press conference?
Nope.
Well, what about our Pulitzer Prize? What about us?
One casting choice that I really liked was Alfred, and just like Jim Gordon, he was in not only the Burton films, but the Joel Shitmaker films too.
The bond between Batman and Alfred, I think, is the fact that ever since he was a child, since he was a very small boy, he hasn't had a mother, he hasn't had a father. All he's had is an old-fashioned nanny.
Of course, Batman and Robin, his plot line was a little underdeveloped and kind of made no sense. I mean, come on, Batgirl.
I got you!
Batgirl is Alfred's niece. Come on now, let's get real here.
Uncle Alfred. Uncle Alfred.
Oh, my dear. Oh, my dear. What a most wonderful surprise.
Well, anyways, at the party in Wayne Manor, Gordon has to rush off for some reason, and that's when we get our first little glimpse of the Batcave. Geekgasm! So while Bruce Wayne is reviewing tapes on the Bat computer, this scene is bound to get anyone excited. This is a new take on Batman and the Batcave, and it was so different than the campy 60s counterpart.
Is it possible? Not only possible, but true.
And the birth of the Joker was a very surprising scene because it was a faithful representation. Minus the Red Hood subplot that's missing. But seeing the Joker's hand rise from the chemical, sort of a scary scene. Burton's darker take on the Batman character is what everybody needed in a Batman film.
You know, I mean, even before I got involved with the project, people were talking about Jack Nicholson doing it, you know, before I was around.
Watching Batman throw smoke pellets on the ground would be imitated by kids for years.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Smoke bomb. See you later, alligator.
One of the most insane moments for me was when the Joker unwraps his bandages. The mystery of what's behind his wraps creates an eerie scene, especially when he freaks out and smashes the glass, because you're expecting him to go nuts and kill the surgeon, but he doesn't.
One day he looked over at me. We're both being made up in our suits. And he just looks at me and says, well, we just gotta let the wardrobe do the acting, kid. And that's true. After a while, man, you just work the suit, you know?
You see what I have to work with here.
What I couldn't believe as a kid was that Batman was so graphic. I know it's a PG-13 movie, but it blows my mind each time I watch it. And that Joker would make his first debut by shooting old Curly.
You can call me Joker.
Curly? Curl? You got a minute?
What a day.
He really didn't waste any time. Jack Nicholson was a fucking insane psychopathic Joker, just like he should have been.
And as you can see, I'm a lot happier.
I really can't think of one damn thing I can honestly hate about his character, the Joker. When he says, wait till they get a load of me, you come pretty close to shitting your pants, because that's when you realize this is one Joker you don't want to fuck with.
Wait till they get a load of me.
One scene that made me say I'm definitely not fucking with this Joker is when he uses his hand buzzer to burn that dude to death.
Oh, I got a live one here. Oh, there'll be a hot time in the old town tonight.
But his sidekick Bob really does suck balls. Yet again, another pointless fucking character that I don't believe needed to be in this film. The Joker having goons would have been good enough for me, but Bob's character was a whole lot cooler than that pussy-ass Knox character, or casting the great Lando Calrissian to be just a cameo character.
And Bob, remember, you are my number one.
But some things I didn't like about the Batman movie was that it was a Batman movie all about the fucking Joker.
There's nothing in these files. No photos, no histories, no nothing. Who is this guy?
Who cares?
You barely learn anything about Batman or even Bruce Wayne. That's something that drove me fucking nuts about this movie.
I don't have any comments now.
It felt like there was way too much screen time devoted to Jack Nicholson as the Joker, rather than Batman.
Batman. Can somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat?
So the story goes like this. The Joker's developed a killer poison that when combined with hygienic products ends up killing you.
No. The poison only works when the components are mixed. Hairspray won't do it alone, but hairspray mixed with lipstick and perfume will be toxic and untraceable.
And at times a little bit of the corniness of this film shows up, like the news reporters looking all nasty because they used a small bit of the makeup. But that could be me just nitpicking and shit, I don't know.
Or worse yet, there may be no pattern.
When the Joker shows up to gas a whole restaurant, it got me thinking, what's the fucking death count of this movie so far? Batman isn't doing a very good job at protecting Gotham at all. He eventually shows up to save Vicky Vale, but not without letting the whole fucking restaurant die. Did I mention that right after these people get killed, it causes you to laugh pretty hard because the Joker comes in dancing to the music of one of the greatest fucking artists of all time.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Black and white, red and green.
Motherfucking Prince. Black and white, green and red. Okay, hold up. So Batman shows up to save Vicky Vale instead of saving everyone in the restaurant?
I can't go on with that right now.
If not now.
That makes me question a lot of the motives to this movie. It's like, what the fuck? If he knew Vicky Vale was in trouble, all he had to do was show up a little bit earlier and save him.
I can't go on with that right now.
If not now. When?
Alfred, let's go shopping.
Yes, sir.
It's like he let them die so he can have Vicky Vale all to himself. I really just can't get over the fact that Batman let all of those people die. But you gotta hand it to him, he did make a pretty cool intro. But that gadget he used was pretty fucking lame. I mean, it was so slow, all the Joker had to do was to jump on the line or have his goons shoot him. But what I liked the most about this movie was the cool Batmobile. I mean, the motherfucking thing had all kinds of cool shit in it. Grappling hooks, shields, motherfucking bombs that come out the side. The best part was it was remote controlled.
Stop.
A scene that made me think that Batman was a smooth pimp was when he was riding through the woods with Vicky Vale and all you could see was the side of his face as he can't turn his head from left to right. He's just looking straight at the road and then kind of peeking over from one corner. The seriousness of Keaton really blew my mind. This scene would lead up to an incredible view of the Batcave.
great survivors.
And even better, you get a better glimpse of his suit. I honestly think that Burton's Batman suit was the coolest one out of the bunch, even though he couldn't move his neck.
We just knew that from the whole feel of the film that we were into, which is just this forbidding, masked character, the knight look, you know, that we'd have sort of medieval elements in it, you know, the sort of knight in armor feel to it, and then go for sheer brute force violence.
This was the first time we got to see Batman in a live action form that wasn't campy and took his character seriously.
Originally, we had hoped to have Bill Murray play Batman.
I loved how the character was placed into the shadows, trying to keep Vicky Vale from seeing his face. And I also loved the detective aspect of this movie. It doesn't make Batman out to be an idiot, because he's actually trying to figure out what the combination of Joker's products is that's killing everybody.
They're looking for one product. The Joker's tainted hundreds of chemicals at the source.
Then whole shipments of products would be poisoned, and would all be dead.
It's also good to see Bruce Wayne actually in the cave reading and trying to figure things out. I still to this day get curious every time I see the scene in which Vicky Vale learns about Bruce Wayne's family getting killed. If this is a big-wig billionaire from Gotham, shouldn't everyone already know that his parents were killed? Surely she would have known that by now, you know? In my opinion, I think this is where the story starts to get a little bit twisted and fucked up. And as a Batman fan and even a kid, I thought the story takes a turn for the worse.
Look, I tried to avoid all this, but I can't. This is how it is.
In Burton's version of Batman, it's a younger version of the Joker that kills Bruce Wayne's parents. And ever since I've seen this film, I was always trying to dispute that in the back of my head, because I know that the Joker didn't actually kill Bruce Wayne's parents in the comic books. So I keep thinking that this film might have just had Bruce Wayne searching for somebody to blame for his parents' murder, and he has an illusion that the Joker did it.
Joe Chill. You are the slinking coward who murdered Thomas and Martha Wayne.
That was a lifetime ago.
Yes, my lifetime. You took them without mercy or regret and in cold blood, Chill.
You may agree to disagree, but I think that's the stupidest fucking move to make the Joker the murderer of Bruce Wayne's parents.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moon?
Leave her alone.
Thomas!
I just wish someone would have thought it through and deleted the whole Joker killing Bruce Wayne's parents subplot, because it's just so fucking stupid.
What's funny? You're saying we owe Batman's existence to you? That's a killer!
But I guess this was just the motivation that Batman needed to go to the war with the Joker. So after blowing up a chemical plant, Batman shows up in the Batjet. And that's when you get the toilet paper out and start cleaning your ass off, because you're shitting them right here at this moment.
Trust.
The Batjet is perhaps the coolest motherfucking vehicle Batman has had so far. The way it flies into the sky and lights up the moon like a bat signal is an epic display of fucking coolness. You hear me? And seeing how dark and huge Gotham is a pretty fucking cool scene. I can't deny how much I fucking love this movie, but that doesn't mean that it's a perfect film. Not at all. Like the death of Bob, which really pisses me off and still does. After all these years Bob and the Joker's been running around as friends, he just seems to shoot him out of nowhere.
Going to need a minute or two alone, boys.
I fucking hated that, because you kind of grow to love Bob, even though you know he has no business being in the fucking film whatsoever. I would have much rather have seen Bob take on Batman with a knife and accidentally fell on it or killed himself or something. But not have some meaningless death at the hands of the Joker. It just feels like really sloppy fucking writing and a really rushed ending. To add insult to injury, the Batwing gets shot down by the Joker's long-ass fucking gun. It would have been much cooler if he would have pulled out a bazooka or something. And although it's meant to be funny, it doesn't do anything but piss me the fuck off. So Batman has to fight his way up a church and is killing every motherfucking person that's in his way. I mean seriously, he throws a guy to his death. I mean, seriously, you know he didn't survive that fall. The ending is perhaps one of the worst parts about Burton's Batman. You can agree or disagree, but the final battle with the Joker was a fucking shame. The only entertaining part of the whole fight was when the Joker spits out his teeth. And I didn't even find it funny when the Joker says, "Let me lend you a hand," and his hand comes off.
Here, let me lend you a hand.
The most disappointing part for me as a kid was that I look up to Batman for doing what is right, but instead he clearly murders the Joker in cold blood with no remorse whatsoever.
Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you.
You can ask, why does this piss me off? Well, how would you feel if in the comic books they killed off the Joker and he was never seen again? I always thought that the Joker was given such a short lifespan. How could you ever include him in any more of Burton's sequels? And I'm surprised that Batman didn't just take off his mask and tell the Joker who he was before he killed him.
You took them without mercy or regret and in cold blood.
What are you talking about?
I am the son of the man you murdered. I am Bruce Wayne.
I made you. You gotta say you made me. And how childish can you get, huh?
Kill you. Kill you. Kill you.
I can't deny that Burton's Batman is still one of my favorite versions of Batman. It took away all the campiness of the 60s, and to me is more enjoyable than the boring Nolan films. But even though this movie has its flaws, it doesn't bore you with a stupid origin story or try to overcomplicate the psychology of Bruce Wayne. And even though it does kind of rape the origin story with the ridiculous Joker killing Bruce Wayne's parents subplot bullshit, it's still more exciting watching the second time around than it is watching Batman Begins for the second time around. Fuck Nolan.
Can't be hurt. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories.
Going to need a minute or two alone, boys.
Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you. Kill you.